Enchanted dolls are unique art toys. They are exquisite dolls made from porcelain, precious metals, gemstones, antique textiles, and rare found objects. They're built specifically for playing, with 19 points of articulation in their porcelain little bodies. I like to build dolls that combine both form and function.
My name is Marina Bichkova, and I am the creator of the Enchanted Doll. I live in Vancouver, BC, but originally I'm from Siberia, Russia. I started making dolls a really long time ago. I was only 6 when I first started making them. I tried to create the most beautiful doll in the world. Each doll takes, on average, 500 hours to make. Some take more and some take less. I start out with designing ball joints and working out the body lines of the doll that I want. After that, I go on to make molds out of plaster and then cast them in porcelain slip. I use the finest French porcelain slip that I can buy. Once the dolls are cast in porcelain, I fire them in my ceramic kiln, letting the porcelain mature at high temperature to gain the translucency and the smooth texture of silky skin. The reason I use porcelain is because it's a very beautiful, translucent, and strong material. It's not as fragile as people think, actually, and in fact can withstand a lot of handling and active playing. It doesn't age. It doesn't react with atmosphere or temperature or ultraviolet light. It's very stable. Permanence is very important to me. The dolls would not deteriorate over time. And then I start to paint it. I use glass ceramic china paint to paint the dolls and give them facial expressions. Eyes takes the longest because they're windows to the soul. That is probably the most time-consuming part, and that could take 4 weeks. Because if you mess up at eyes, then the whole doll looks dead. There's no life in it. After painting the eyes, I usually start working on the costume. My favorite folk costumes are obviously Russian and also Chinese. Where I lived in Siberia, it was pretty close to Chinese border. So I think that influence, that visual influence from illustration and books and fairy tales just sort of trickled over across the border. And I actually had Chinese classmates in my class when I was a girl. But I think coming to Vancouver, moving here in 1997, and finding such a large Asian population here has really started to influence my work. It's a rich culture in Vancouver, rich Chinese culture here.
I studied art at the Emily Carr Institute of Art and Design and graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I didn't study dolls in art school. I was already making dolls. For dolls to exist as art, I believe, they must have meaning beyond just pure form, just pure aesthetics. And I learned conceptual context from my dolls because I realized that without stories, dolls are just toys.
My husband is the person who supports me the most in my artistic endeavors. He's my sounding board a lot of times, where I run my ideas by him and we discuss it together.
When I'm finished with the doll, I don't feel compelled to keep this work that I made. I want to let it go and I move on to another doll. That becomes the next dream. That becomes the next emotional investment.
Now I'm starting to imagine what an enchanted doll would look like on a human scale, or even larger than life, perhaps 10 feet tall. So right now I'm pretty excited about developing a new, large enchanted doll. That's my next dream. That's my next horizon line.